Yes, we would like to move on to our next slide and the cardiology profile update. Rebecca Baker will be discussing our CPN guidebooks.
So this is how charges are captured in devices reordered today. CPM Profile, or Cardiac Procedure Note Profile, provides direction on how to organize data for devices and procedures. This structure allows cardiovascular operations the opportunity to enhance charge capture and inventory management for real-world clinical practice. Coordinating CPM Profile with procedure charge capture and inventory management has the potential to yield staffing efficiencies, charge optimization, and cost-effective supply management for staffing and power levels. Devices linked to reorder will prevent a situation where it's 3 a.m., the MI is on the table, the doc calls for a catheter, and the cath lab doesn't have it because it was never reordered. Next slide. So that was the problem. This is the solution. And the purpose is to build awareness. We want to promote engagement. This document was written towards senior executives, not informatics experts. And the summary was written to deliver the CPM profile and explain how vendors and healthcare professionals can work together using the same language. I'd like a health systems perspective to bring home the administrative burden and the solution. Sophia Chavez.
Thank you, Rebecca. That was really powerful. The intent when we were writing the implementation playbook, historically from the health system perspective, we've seen gaps between the vendor community and the way the clinicians discuss the clinical systems that we have today. And the intent was to be able to drive that there is benefit from having standards. The ability to support data sharing is extremely important. A better bottom line, happy patients, we can all make this happen. So the executive view was designed for the facility executives to be able to identify and hone in on areas where they believe a return on investment and the benefit of using the CPN profile would be available to them within their hospital, their facility, and the vendors to be able to drive adoption of supporting standards. So when ask comes down to engagement really from the clinical people, we need the same thing, that they want the standards to help us support vendor adoption.
So now we'll hand it over to Charles Thomas from the University of Washington to discuss the mitral valve repair.
Good morning. So in this work cycle, we added 2 procedures to the cardiac procedure note. The first is the mitral clip. And in general, the process that we go through is we review FDA and CMS approval and appropriate use guidance. We look at registry content requirements. We look at the patient selection process through EMR review. And we look at reports that we're currently generating for these procedures and then for patient follow-up information. For the mitral valve repair, one of the things that we discovered along the way was that the current nomenclature for SNOMED CT was not inclusive of the details of mitral valve morphology so that we could be successful in describing the deployment of the device and also the detailed nature of the mitral valve prolapse. Next slide. We did the same for the left atrial appendage occlusion, and same set of review criteria were used. Once again, and even more emphatically, we discovered that the left atrial appendage morphology is not currently a part of the SNOMED CT nomenclature. So we're looking ahead to the next development cycle and to working with our colleagues at the ACC to create expert consensus so that we can proceed to have the additions necessary to complete our work here. Next slide. With regard to conformance, there is one thing to note. If you want to work with your vendors for support of these procedures, MitraClip was added to the already existing structural heart options in conformance. The left atrial appendage was created as a separate option, and this is because it is often performed at facilities where they are not performing other structural heart procedures. So it has been set up separately, and specifically do note, if you are going to review the CPN, either as a developer or as someone creating requirements for your CPN implementation, that all of the observation, the measurement constraints, are separately defined in the CPN.